Getting the van pulled out of the backyard this morning definitely did not go to plan. I lost motivation, ended up talking to my neighbor for like an hour. So now the van is here, kind of, halfway between where it was and where it was going. But I did start pulling the clutch pedal parts. Found out that is huge pain to get out on these old vans. But before I got too far along, I wanted to show you the conditions of this van. Pulled the radiator. There was a guy who messaged me on the internet, said he wanted it. I don't know if it's worth shipping to California or not, but it is pulled. All these vines have grown up through that. That's a rat nest. That's quite the rat nest. One of the things I need to try for my van for running conditions is an airflow meter. So need to relinquish that from the demon's hold. See if we can get that out. Test that in the other van. I think I'm calling it a night. I am over mud and rat poop and rat pee. Told you I was gonna hit the fence.
Your strap break?
Can I just tell you, Mercury must be in lemonade or whatever that means? Just nothing's going my way. But hey, I got 3 vans, all in differing states of disrepair. Thank you.
Mayo packet with your stink bug on it.
That was somebody's lunch.
Love that. I'm mad that somebody ate in here.
No, I meant whoever lived in that nest right there.
Ew.
She thought someone just ate a pack of mayonnaise in here. Well, I don't even know where to begin. Mainly, I just want to pull the transmission out of this thing. But at the moment, it appears I need it for parts for the white van. I kind of want to pull that airflow meter off. I already pulled the thermostat housing in it because it's got several coolant temperature sensors. I pulled the Dizzy. Look down in here. That is where the thermostat housing used to live. So this cooling system, questionable. I need to get the other van running because right now having to tug it around the yard is just not working. And if I was to need the trailer today, wouldn't be able to get it. So, man, that guy is so cool. Anyway, guess we're gonna try to get that airflow meter out. Disgusting. All right, these are my vines. Guess we'll pull those out. Yep. Yep. Oh yeah, that is a nice soft nest right there. Someone was loving that one. Oh god. More vines. The other van did start and run. The airflow meter from this. Does that mean the other van's fixed? No, it surely does not. Unfortunately, what it's been doing is pretty much it's just sporadically been running poorly. And then basically once it warms up, it literally it just doesn't run anymore. So, the fact that I ran it long enough for it to suck earlier, shut it off, tugged it around the yard with the Dodge, and now it starts again with the new airflow meter, doesn't necessarily mean anything's fixed at all. It just means it's happy at this very moment. So I do need to get back on trying to figure out why it's doing that, and maybe the airflow meter was it, but we don't know. Right now, however, stashing all these brand new free fuses for future use in other crappy vehicles. This thing had a ton of these little add a circuit idea things. Kind of scary. Got in there. What you hiding? What's this? More? That's right. I'll take those too. Well, on the positives, it's getting sunny out. It's still wet, but it is getting sunny out. So I've never been under a manual one of these. Anyway, it appears to be a W58. Pretty standard Toyota rear-wheel drive transmission with this nifty little cable actuated side shift doodad on it. So it looks like I'll blast the, oh wow, this thing was probably sloppy. I'm sure it works fine. Anyway, I'll blast the cables loose. If I decide to manual swap my van, if it ever treats me right again, I probably will make my own clutch line rather than using the hard line on this, because mainly I just don't want to fish it out of this thing. It looks complicated and it's kind of rusty. So I think though, this might come out pretty easy. I think the plan is pull this trans today. Then the goal will be get it back on the trailer, and then I'll pull the rear axle out for things. Let's start doing that then. All right, well, I guess first order of business, dropping the drive shaft, which is kind of loose. I think shortly before this thing was parked, they did a clutch in it. Nobody really remembers. Man, these things are so hard to jack up and get up off the ground. Hate that. Anyway, of course I had to drain a pan to get a pan. And conveniently, it also has some lock washers in it from when I did the diff on the Corolla. Nothing came out when we pulled the drive shaft. Guess we'll pull the drain plug rather than make a mess later. See what comes out. Wow, that looks crazy clean. Man, I'm a fool. They did just do a clutch in this theoretically, which means this is all brand new and I'm gonna have to fill it back up. That is gorgeous. They did not drive it much. Cheapskate in me wants to close this back up and save that, but doesn't want to lay in gear lube later. Me wants to just go ahead and drain it. Man, I'm torn. That's terrible. I hate that. I guess let's just start pulling stuff off. Well, in theory, everything on here is just going to be assorted 12s and 14s and 17s. Should be fairly easy to get apart though. Anybody know how to hold this shifter cable from spinning while I'm trying to bust the nut loose? Wow, the torsion bars have never been messed with on this one. It's got these little sheaths. The threads are gorgeous. Really wanted to pull this with the cables off rather than having these 7-foot long tentacles hanging off of it, but I guess that's not an option today. When it comes to doing anything on a transmission, it's always nice to have like 30 feet of extension to get the top bolts. That's definitely not a bell housing bolt. Woo! Almost killed myself with the starter. That's what I'm talking about with these extensions. Getting your hand up there on that bolt, complicated. Extend it all the way out here, not complicated. It's gross down here. Anyway, got most of the bits and pieces unbolted. Do have this one left here. And the trans mount still fully installed. But this does appear to be my last bell housing bolt. So before I get the rear trans mount unbolted, I do want to go ahead and throw a jack under this thing, support it, and blast this one out. All right, what we get to do now is find out what's still connected while we shake it and get it precariously perched and find out that it's about to fall, but it's still bolted to something. Give her a little shake. Oh yeah, that's coming right off. I'm gonna have to come down with the trans. Jack's next to you guys. Can you, put it down a little? What do you think? Kind of feels secured to something still. There we go. That's the gap we're looking for. Ah, she was just tight on the alignment dowel. You guys let her down, I'll stabilize it. Yep, that's what I needed. Thank you.
I'm a mechanic.
Yeah! All right. Now she shall give birth. So, I guess a W58. This thing's really short. Boop. How cool would it be to put a JZ bell housing on this thing, slam it in a car with a JZ, and set it all the way back where the JZ is like next to you, and then use the shifter cables for a remote shifter. So you'd have like a mid-engine, rear-wheel drive JZ car. How cool would that be? Cool. Yeah, boy, we're struggling to get some content this week. The van, the lifted van, love this thing, but she has started running bad, and I really haven't put too much thought into it. I pulled these coolant temp sensors off the junker red van, thinking maybe one of those is what the ECU is looking for. Pulled the airflow meter off the other van, trying that, hasn't changed anything. The fuel pump wiring on this thing is jumpered. O2 sensor maybe got fried when I welded the exhaust the other day. Maybe that's a thought. Maybe it just died. I don't know. Something is causing this thing to run lean basically after it warms up. The weather's just been terrible. I don't know. What should I do today? I really need to scrap the red van, but I'm not really done pulling parts off of it. But I can't get it onto the trailer. So I need that to run to move the trailer. I need a winch on the trailer to get the van on the trailer. Whew. Just a rough week. Rough. Sorry, guys. Don't have any projects. This weather, man. Great week. Just a great week. So, there's a situation. Ever since this thing started running bad, it's had a constant check engine light anytime the engine was running. Obviously, because one would, when you have a old piece of junk that has been pulled out of the woods and was non-running when you got it, you obviously go off the deep end looking at complicated stuff instead of looking at simple things. So I just checked the fuses. I don't know what the second EFI fuse is for, because clearly it has two for some reason, and the secondary one was blown. Replace that fuse. Check engine light is off. Now, I just started the van for the first time today. It may or may not still have an issue. I just replaced the coolant temperature sensor plug. Those wires were really sketchy, kind of backing out, and the wires were actually split. So they could have touched. That might have been what popped that fuse. Otherwise, it still has some issue that we don't know about that's gonna pop the fuse again, and we haven't fixed anything. But theoretically, right now, it is fixed. So, I guess one thing went right, maybe. Still time for it to go wrong, though. Well, so far, still so good. Probably been running for 20, 25 minutes now. Do you guys have a bad habit about just like finding the dumbest little obstacles in your yard to try to get your vehicle stuck on? Because I always have. And check this out. So we got the van. She's flexed right on out. This is the true lean angle of it. Well, you know, if we come over here, woo! Wheels completely off the ground. Seems like it might be fixed. Further driving will verify if whatever popped that fuse is going to make it happen again. But at least now I know if it's doing that. 15 amp fuse is all you need to fix it. So it's earned treats. It's got these custom quick release vented turn signal taillights. The parts van came with some decent ones. Actually, when I slid the parts van off my trailer back here, it rolled off the trailer straight into my jet ski trailer and broke this reverse lens. That's what I get, because these were actually pretty straight. So, gonna treat it to some taillights since it's behaving. On a more somber note, on my test drive, I got too excited. This thing was already pretty crappy, but there were some spare knuckles rolling around back here. And I was getting it around some corners. And I broke my little panel thingy that goes above the license plate.